Yesterday I had a very relaxing day. It was my day off. And I was just going through, going through my YouTube, and, I got to the point where I had looked at all the videos that were recently posted by those people that I subscribed to, and then YouTube suggested feminism versus freedom of speech to me, which, as I watched it and automatically saw The Amazing Atheist on it, I found it to be a very interesting video. Basically, this video done by The Amazing Atheist, was about a feminist group at a college campus that pulled a fire alarm in order to silence a discussion, a talk, a speech given by the group Equality Cannada, which is primarily men supporting the equality of all genders, which actually I will link their link below. A link to their website. And so, I left some comments about egalitarianism, about equality, and actually how to truly be a forward-thinking society that values all parts of the gender spectrum, we shouldn't be feminists, we shouldn't be men's rightists, we should be egalitarians. And actually I want to give a shout out to Chesumasu 1, Chumasu 1, who actually gave me that word, egalitarian, because we had a conversation back and forth about some of our own personal experiences, and about how, egalitarian. The Vikings were an egalitarian society. They valued both the work of their men and their women equally. And if we really want to be progressed to 2013, then that's what we need to be. I'm a millennial. I was born in the 1980s. I went into high school in the early part of 2000. I grew up with what happened during second wave feminism. The idea that I can do whatever I want as far as a career goes. I can work on an oil rig. I can be a homemaker. I can be a nurse. I can be an astronaut. I can do whatever I want to do. And especially with the military now allowing women in combat, that even opens up even more possibilities as to what women can do as jobs. If a woman wants to be a sniper, and she's qualified to do so, more power to her. The sheer fact that we have reached that point in our society is a massive stepping stone. But, as part of that, we need to start acknowledging that women can and do commit crimes against men. And yes, that's my cell phone going off. And they commit crimes against other women. As many of my subscribers know, I was raped, date raped, by a woman in college. And I was repeatedly abused and coerced and mentally and physically, emotionally over the course of our 2-year relationship or so. She emotionally coerced me into giving her my virginity. And 6 months into our relationship, she date raped me. And over the next course of a year and a half when we were still dating, because, well, let's face it, I didn't have the self-esteem. I thought, well, I'll never be able to get anyone better than her. Everybody thinks I'm ugly and stupid, all that. Little did I know. And I was so desperate to be in a long-term relationship that I stuck with her. Even though over the course of our relationship she would go on to tell me, well, just to cure your eating disorder, all you have to do is eat more. This coming from somebody who is on the opposite end of the eating disorder spectrum, where she was morbidly obese. Constantly hearing stuff that negated and was against the masculine side of the gender spectrum, because especially at that point, I was a very masculine woman. To be repeatedly emotionally coerced. I lived with her in an apartment that I had no reason to be in. I only had 1 semester of school left. And she insisted on a year-long lease at this apartment because she didn't want to live on the side of town that had the apartments where you could go semester to semester. Or the fact that she got so pissed off when I said, yeah, I'm going to live at home for the summer, because, oh yeah, it was my first time to be, it was my last chance to be a kid. But yeah, that's some of the dirt on my relationship. If women want to have full equality, then they need to accept the good, the jobs, the government acknowledgement, the laws and whatnot, as well as the bad. Women can be accused and imprisoned for raping other people. And this includes other women, but also men. Because let's face it, what is rape really about? Consent. If a person does not consent, regardless of what their body does, then it is rape. And women should be equally prosecuted for physical assault on men, as well as women and whoever their partner happens to be. Physical, emotional, mental, whatnot. That knife needs to cut both ways. It's not always men who are the attackers against women. Women can attack men, women can attack other women. That's a nasty little secret of the gay community, but there is abuse. And what really got me passionate enough to make a video was a comment by an individual called Karl Marx. I had posted, but doesn't egalitarian mean equality of all genders? Throwing that back to the word my colleague Tessuma U1 gave me. I mean, egalitarian societies like that of the Vikings acknowledged and valued men and women equally, even though they had different jobs. And this person commented back, "Shut up, you idiot. You just use buzzwords like egalitarian because you're actually a drooling idiot. You just wanted to sound intelligent and conform. You never had an original thought in your life." Really? Now you know what? I made a snap comment and reposted back that I'm a woman who was raped by a feminist. But y'all see my point. If we really want to be a forward society that views men and women equally, we need to be egalitarian. We need to take on the word egalitarian. We need to acknowledge that men and women are equal. And that's not just women can go out and have a career and whatnot, but also that men can stay at home and be stay-at-home dads. And that the breakdowns of that, of the career person versus the homemaker, who's going to make those sacrifices in a relationship, that needs to be left to the couple. It should not automatically assume that it should be the woman who is the homemaker or the man who is the breadwinner. That needs to be a choice and a decision left to the partnership. I know several guys who are awesome stay-at-home dads. I had a coworker back up in Toledo where he was the most amazing stay-at-home dad. Now given, he worked part-time, just as a little bit more supplementation, also to get out of the house. But this guy once told me a story about he had gotten done cleaning a particular floor in his house that was kind of slippery. And so he wanted to teach his son a lesson. So he purposely slid across the floor, took a dive, and then he picked himself up and said, "Oh, I'm okay, I'm okay." Next time his kid fell over, this little one picked himself up and said, "Oh, I'm okay," rather than running to his mommy. You want a better example of a man teaching his son how to be a man by our cultural standards. I can't think of a better one. That stay-at-home dad was teaching his son how to take care of his partner, how to be a gentleman, how to cook, clean, be there, and support his partner, who happened to be a woman, who was going out and bringing home the bacon. And yet, a conversation that I had with a second-wave feminist was this mutual coworker of ours was not a real man because he was a stay-at-home dad. Are you kidding me? For full equality, we must acknowledge the balance in relationships. For full equality, we must acknowledge that women can commit crime against men. And I think that that's one of the big reasons why there's such a backlash against third-wave feminism, is that they're bringing up all the old cheers and stuff and trying to fight the battles that were fought by first and second wave. Yeah, you know what? First and second wave feminism kicked ass. But it is 2013. Millennials grew up with the ideas of feminism and that women and men are equal. Now, yes, the predominant number of sexual crimes are still committed against women. But just think how many of those sexual crimes against men are not reported. I certainly didn't report getting raped by a feminist, or raped by a woman, for that matter. Let's give up feminism. Let's support egalitarianism. Let's support all genders, and not bias ourselves by one side of the spectrum or another. Anyway, that was my rant for the day. Peace out.